Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And in this episode what I think we'll do is we will have a look at smoothing our aero elements up here. We could have a look at making the actual aero elements to the front here, and then we maybe have a look at these sections here. So I think what we'll do, if I can get my references here, looks like the aero elements are fairly simple, but they do have a little kick inside them. Again, ignore the Discord notifications. So let's have a look here. I think we'll probably be best off doing this as a plane actually. So let's bring in a plane here and bring these into position. Now I'm hoping we'll be able to see these quite nicely in the blueprints. Let's just go down and make sure we're rocking 1 and 1. So we do have a good idea of how they'll look in the blueprints there. So let's isolate our selection here. So this must be obviously the top section now. We're just going to have this cut into the bumper. We're not going to be too bothered about being mindful of the exterior section there. So if we do something like that. So what we could do here is if we grab this, we'll do this as few as we can just now. We'll just do that. So we're going to do it just as few as possible so we can get it roughly lined up how we want it. What we'll actually do is we'll go on the outside of these vertical extrusions here. Okay. So what we'll want to do now is select it as well as the blueprint, which will allow us to bring it in here on its own. So we'll bring it down something like this. So what we'll want to do here is let's select these elements and bring them into position. Now it looks like it kicks down there, but we'll add that in afterwards. Okay. So that looks okay, so I think here we want to move up slightly. Okay. So let's grab all of our faces here and we're going to extrude down. We're only going to extrude. Actually, let's go up so we don't have any normal issues. So we'll only extrude ever so slightly there. So we'll bring these all into the center. So we're not quite thick enough just yet, but I'm not going to be wanting to be too thick around the edges. Okay. So what we'll want to do is make sure we're nice and smooth around all these points here. Okay, so let's insert a couple more edge loops. And we'll want to put as few as possible inside here, I think. They go 2 down here. Okay, so I think what we'll want to do is we will want to insert an edge loop, and we're going to drop it something like that. And what we'll attempt to do with this is if we can grab just these top points here. And we'll just pull those up slightly. We can use the front view here to help us, maybe not quite that far. Something like that. And then we'll do the same with these lower sections just to give it kind of a little bit more beef. We can push those down here. That will also allow us to grab this point here and drop that down. What we'll also want to do is insert an edge loop here. And we'll also insert an edge loop here. So this is going to be the start of the kind of extra incline there. So here and here we're going to extrude this up. I think the front view should be a good shout here. Do something like that. And we'll bring this edge down up here. Okay, so that there looks pretty good. And what we'll do is we will grab our edge loop tool and we'll drop one in here and here. Up here and here. And drop that in down there. Okay. So I hit 3 on that just to give it a nice test for the smooth. So all of that looks pretty good, but I think here we want to drop a little bit more. So something like that. I think we still want to go a little bit more. Let's just help smooth that off a little bit better. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And again, what we'll do is I'll assign a shiny black material to that. Okay, that looks good. So we do have a second one to create, so we're going to use the same method for this. Now this one's going to be a little bit trickier because we won't see the top to this as we go. So let's make 1 and 1. Okay. So I select these selections here. So again, we will stick to just above the ridge here. And what we'll try to do is we'll try just to emulate the same kind of curve. In fact, what we could try, because it does look very similar to what we already have at the top here. So we could pull this down. Something like so. Get rid of the majority of the edges here. There we go. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So we can get rid of this. And let's just isolate this selection here because it does look like we've got a little bit of an issue, so let's grab all of these and straighten them off here. I think it's probably going to be a straight edge that we actually do want to work with. Okay, so what the easiest thing to do here, I think, would be to just to quickly cap off this, the end of this, is to grab all of the areas here that we've used to help smooth. Top ones will be fine, just so we've got a little bit less things to work with. So we can grab these ones and these ones to do the same, so we can delete the edge and vertices for those as well. So just to make it as easy as possible when it comes to capping this off, so we can see here now all we need to do is quickly bridge and bridge again and then bridge again, and then that means we can insert our edge loops here. We can just add all these back in. And here. We'll probably want to drop one at the back as well. We'll also definitely want one at the front. Okay. And I think we'll insert an edge loop back here as well. It's got two pretty decent bits there, looking really good. Cool. Okay, so what we'll maybe do real quick as well is we'll look at inserting some edge loops over here. So we'll go up to the edge there. We'll maybe drop one here for structure, and then we'll drop down here, and then we'll go up here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay. And then we'll do the same up here. So we'll drop our edge loops down here, here, and then over here. It does look like maybe got an issue inside here. Okay. So that looks pretty good. We could apply smooths to that as well. Nice shiny material. Okay, so what we could have a think about is this section up here. So it looks like there's a few ways that we could do this. I think the best way would be with a new plane. And I think the idea here would be to extrude around all the edges, and then extrude down, and then add in the fins after. And again, add in as few areas inside here as possible. So do something like this. Now it looks like this could follow all the way down here. Maybe take 1 and 2. We'll finalize all of this and edit it after. So I'll grab this here, come back down the way, get a bit of rotation in there. Another one here. And then we'll bring these points around here and merge. Okay, so what I want to do before anything else is we are going to want to get the element in place up here. Now, there's a few ways we could do this. We could try and match it to the blueprint the best we can. I think the best shout would be to actually let's grab these and we'll extrude these down. I actually think the best way to do it would be to actually match it with the model itself. So what I mean by that is we'll pull these vertices here until we're sitting just up and around where they should be, like so. So what I'm going to aim to do is aim just to have it just ever so slightly lip over, because it isn't a huge section here. So have it something like that. And what we'll want to do is we'll want to insert some edge loops. So we'll maybe go here. And we'll firstly want to get it in position. So maybe drop this one here. Yeah. So I think what I might do here is I'll speed this up, and when we get a little bit closer to the final thing, I'll talk about what I've done in between. Okay guys, so what we've done here is we have just gone around the actual edge, kind of traced around where this section should be. I've then beveled it similar to how we have with the other items, and now we have something that looks like this. So what we'll be doing is we'll be adding the kind of fins inside this section here and just sitting over the top of what we actually have there, just to kind of mask the geometry. Now we can play about with this a little bit, moving it up and down, but I think we're looking pretty good just there. So again, what we can do here is we can now add the darker material to this. And what I'm going to do with the fins is I'm just going to use a polygon primitive essentially to create those. So I'm just going to do it out of a cube here. I'll just bring this into position and we'll have a look at the first one. And I'm simply just going to be using this shape here to create a whole host of these little fins, and then just pushing them into position. So I think I'll cut this episode off just here. I am going to leave me modeling these fins. I'll just speed it up a little bit as we go. But as usual, thanks for watching the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.